Hey folks, Ed Dupas back to talk about and play another song from my new album, Tennessee Night. And Tennessee Night, the title track, is the song I will talk about and play today. It's a song that wasn't intended to be a title track. I had reconnected with an old friend from college, one of those people you never forget. It had been 2 decades, and somehow all the powers to stalk on the internet would fail when it came to this guy. He was just nowhere to be found, and you know, when you leave all the college friends behind, most of them just fade into obscurity. But there's something about this guy that just always regretted falling out of touch with them. And I got an email from him maybe a couple months before tracking this new record, asking if I remembered him and saying he'd come across my website or my music, and he had reached out to reconnect, and it was glorious, because he didn't know that I'd wanted to be back in touch with this guy for 20 years. And he lives in California now, but he, as it turns out, was making a trip back to Michigan just the next month, and we got together and sat in my basement. I played him some of the demos, and he absolutely loved the song Tennessee Night, and really thought that would be a great name for a record, and I just never had thought that. But it felt okay when he said it, and I very quickly warmed to the idea. Now I can see what I didn't see then about the song, whereas this whole record, the concept of it was about these two aspects, and the vinyl side one and side two having very different, almost opposing energies, at least in my mind, in the way I felt about the songs. That Tennessee Night is essentially a microcosm of that story. You have these two parties or two entities in the song that have been at a distance and now are sort of thrust back together, and we don't know what happens with that. And it very much reflects, where I was at when this album was born, that something was waking up in me, like it's something that the song Heading Home sort of alludes to, or at least it alludes to in the inspiration. I don't know if the lyrics do to a stranger listening to it, but for me it was about turning a corner, and call it a midlife crisis, call it what you will, but the feeling of a return. I cannot, under the pressure of the camera, think of the poet's name, but there's this famous poem, as I paraphrase, it says, "We shall not cease from exploration," or whatever, "and the end of our travels will be to return to the place we started and know it for the first time." I love those words, and I feel like that was something that was opening up. That was something that was starting when I sort of came into the process of making this record. That there was a part of me, if we as people run or start off in a direction away from authenticity, and maybe before we even know that we're going in a direction, we may go our whole lives, but we may turn back and point the nose of the boat back to something we lost. And I feel like that was something that was just beginning to happen in my life when I got the inspiration for this record, Tennessee Night. And so that song, I really feel, for me, in trying to understand the feeling that evoked it, really plays with that idea of the two aspects. And for me, I've come to understand those aspects. Even though the song, you might picture them in the form of a man and a woman, obviously, since one's wearing a dress. But we don't know what the other one's wearing. They could be anyone. But for me, it's really much more like two aspects that I've come to understand in myself, coming to meet each other again, and trying to coexist. And that's, if it sounds confusing, it's because it's a process that's still unfolding in my life, and will be, I'm sure, to the day I die. But I think looking back now, I can see how the song Tennessee Night, really gets at that. Anyway. stopped on the shoulder and the dust blew away. I watched you get out on a hot summer's day and step back into my life and out of the Tennessee night. It's been hard miles since you left this town, faithful and fearless you feel on the ground. Now you're back and you're burning bright, straight out of the Tennessee night. Out of the Tennessee night, it's where I want you to stay, far from all the bright lights, the ones that took you away. I've been lost in this town, trying to keep you inside, and you've been out there too long, alone in the Tennessee night. Now I watched as your dress is blue in the wind, your hair in your face and the sun on your skin. It's been years since you've seen the light, been out of the Tennessee night. And I followed the path of your star in the sky, traced every line, every tear that you cried, hoping you'd get out alright, out of the Tennessee night. Out of Tennessee night, that's where I want you to stay, far from all the bright lights, the ones that took you away. I've been lost in this town, trying to keep you inside, and you've been out there too long, alone in the Tennessee out of the Tennessee night, it's where I want you to stay, far from all the bright lights, the ones that took you away. I've been lost in this town, trying to keep you inside, and you've been out there too long, alone in the Tennessee night. Yeah, you've been out there too long, alone in the Tennessee night. See you next time.